surging teams. And what do I mean by surging teams? I mean teams that are starting to get hot at the right time. Teams that you look up, you're like, whoa, this team's in the sixth spot. This team's in the seventh spot. Oh, this team, has a chance to maybe slide into that fourth spot if some things shake their right way. The teams that I'm thinking of, I got three in particular. I want to find out who's the most dangerous teams out of this group. Zay, I will let you begin here. The Minnesota Timberwolves, who have won 8 out of their last 10. The Charlotte Hornets, who have won 7 out of the last 10. And the Toronto Raptors, who are 6-4 in their last 10, but had a nice little win last night against the Philadelphia 76ers at the Sixers home arena. So who is the most dangerous team out of those three teams? And or do you have another team you're thinking of? You can add that group. But to me, these are the teams where no one's really talking about, but they're getting hot at the right time. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they could upset someone in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the Raptors are definitely that team, in my opinion. Actually, and I don't mean to correct the guy on top. The Raptors actually lost to the Chicago basketball team last night. So that ended what was their 6-game win streak. 6 win in
a row. You're right. Yep.
Oh, they had yes, it was 6, but 7 of their last 8. And so 7 of their last 9, they go to play the Cavs in 2 nights. But they're moving fast. Siakam is going crazy, averaging 20
former
game.
NBA champion. We gotta remember that. Van Vliet, former NBA champion.
So they definitely have the championship experience. I think you hit it right on the head. And with Scotty Barnes playing well, that's a scary team. It's a scary team. You hope right now they're 42-32, which puts them 3rd in their division. But if they can keep on stringing this together, they beat the Suns. They ran through the Western Conference, and as you mentioned, they ran through the Philadelphia 76ers as well. And with Van Vliet doing well, with them crashing the boards pretty hard. That is a very scary team moving forward. So I'm gonna have the Raptors be my pick.
I love it. BG, how you feel about this? Favorite surging team right now?
So out of those 3 teams, Toronto has that championship pedigree. They've had guys that have been there, won it. You mentioned Siakam. You got Freddie, All-Star. They got I can't think of his name right now, but the shooter, my man from Duke again.
Gary Trent Jr.
Gary Trent Jr. Yeah,
yes, sir.
He's playing well. He's playing well this year. So yeah, they're definitely a rising team. It's not a bad pick. But honestly, looking at comparing to who they might face off with in the playoffs when we're talking about scarier teams, I'm gonna go with Minnesota. I think Minnesota with Karl-Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards is a dog. They got Pat Beverly, so they got a lot of great guys, a lot of great pieces, and they're sitting in the 7th seed in the West right now. So they'll play that play-in game versus New Orleans. So I think they win that. But even if, let's say they win that, they end up being, or is it 7 versus 8? How do they do the play-in?
Play-in is
I think
it's 10 through 8 basically. No, I take that back. 10 through 6 basically fighting for a play-in spot.
So does the 7 play the 10 or does
I think 7 plays? No, I think. Geez, I had this. We don't have to. I mean, people.
I think the 7 plays the 10, and the 8 plays the 9. And if
someone has to win. Someone has to win. One of those 9 or 10, they have to win to then get a chance to then play again against like the 8 seed.
Something probably
like that.
If the 10 beats the 7.
Something like that. Yeah.
So let's say Minnesota beats the 10 seed. They become the 7th seed in the playoffs. Right now they're matched up against Memphis, and I know we love Memphis. I know they're hot, but Memphis is not Phoenix. Memphis is not Golden State. I think Minnesota could take.
Oh, they could definitely knock them off. Ooh, that'd be a nice little series.
Yeah, that's a nice little matchup there. But then when you talk about Toronto's got a matchup against the play-in against Trae Young and Atlanta Hawks. And that's a one-game play-in. So they could lose that one. But let's say they win it to the 7th seed. Now you're matching up against Joel Embiid and the 76ers. Is Toronto winning that series?
Yeah, it's tough.
I like Minnesota over Memphis better than Toronto over Philly.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about those three teams, I like Minnesota a little bit more than Toronto, even though Toronto has that championship pedigree. But one team that is being talked about a little bit, but I think we got to give them respect, because right now they're 4th in the East. The Boston Celtics are moving up. They're gonna, they're shaping up at the right time. They're 9-1 in their last 10 games. They figured out the Tatum Brown situation. They got great guys like Marcus Smart as well, playing well. They're gonna be a scary team.
They can play defense, man. #1 defensive team in the NBA. You saw what they did to Golden State last week. You know what I mean? I know Steph was out, but the defense for them is just remarkable. I think over their last 30 games, I think they won something crazy like 23 or 24 over their last 30 games.
Yeah, they're on a tear right now. So it started a little bit before All-Star break. And, Tatum's had a couple 50-ball games, I think. So he's playing really well. They're playing really well. I think Boston's the scariest third team.
So I'm looking at the standings, man. It's kind of off of the cuff, but I'm looking at the standings, East and West. I'm starting the East. Miami Heat. I was running down Heat, Sixers, Bucks, Celtics. To me, those are the teams you can kind of lean on. Celtics would be the one where you really got to see it, but Heat, they made the finals a couple of years ago. 76ers, they were in the Eastern Conference final just last year. The Bucks obviously won the title. Celtics, we just talked about them. Other than that, 5 through 8 right now are the Bulls, Cavs, Raptors, and then the Nets. So, talk about the West before I hit on my point. Obviously, Suns, you got Grizzlies, you got Warriors, and then you got Jazz, Mavs, Nuggets, Timberwolves, and Clippers. So I think both sides of the conferences, you have teams in those top 3/top 4 that are somewhat proven, but then the other teams, man, those teams can be firecrackers at any time. Like, they could explode and they can maybe knock off one of those higher seeds, or they could just fizzle out, and be a team that we never talk about again. So I honestly know we're at game like 71, 72. I cannot wait for the playoffs, because to me, I think this is my prediction. I think we're going to have a NBA Finals appearance by a team that no one expected. I know that's broad. I know it's a broad swipe, but I don't think we're going to get both top teams out of East or West that make the finals, or even a top 2 team on both sides that make the finals. I think you're going to get one of these sneaky teams. Obviously, the Nets, I don't even count them as a team. They're number 8 right now, but clearly with their talent, they can beat anyone. But in terms of these teams, man, in the West, the Suns, Golden State. But other than that, man, I think maybe even the Mavs can make the finals. Maybe even the Nuggets can make the finals. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of teams that we just don't necessarily know what they're going to do until it's actually playoff time. But that's what makes it fun, because once it is playoff time, this is where these guys can really make a name for themselves, and these teams can make a name for themselves and really put their cities on the map. So I'm excited there, man.
And I think what a lot of people, and for our listeners, if you're not a basketball advocate all the time, what people don't understand is it's all about matchups. And like you said, looking at the standings, Philly, Milwaukee, and Boston are 2, 3, 4 in the East, and they all have pretty much the same winning percentage. They're all pretty much tied up. Boston's actually played 2 more games than Philly and Milwaukee, but Philly and Milwaukee are both 44 and 27. And Boston's 45, so 1 more win, and 28, 1 extra loss. So Boston could end up the 2 seed if they stay hot. So it's all about matchups, and who matches up with who, and that's going to really tell, or at least give you a better chance to predict what the playoffs going to be like.
Totally, man. I love it.